Now, this is the general form, what we say for a quadratic, and it would be when you're graphing y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. All right. Now, that is just where a, b, and c are constants, where a, b, and c are constants. Now, somebody showed me something pretty cool on notability, so I want to kind of show you this. Now, in your add, we want to add stickies, and it shows grid. All right. Now, so what's happening now on the grid? If you tap it, I think you can do paper, and you want to make it so it's smaller. And now we have we're able to do a graph. Does everybody see that? All right, I think that's a really cool little feature, and you can do whatever color you want. It doesn't really matter. All right, and if you notice too, if you make it bigger, if you expand the picture out, it just gets more grids, which I think is really nice for graphing. All right, so what's going on right now is I'm going to add at the bottom here. I'm going to put this paper at the bottom. It's really kind of a nice little feature. All right, so here we go. So now put that if you want at the bottom, and then I'm going to get on with the lesson. All right. Now, again, we're not going to graph number one right at this moment because we're just going to graph y equals x squared. So what I want everybody to do is we're going to make your x and y axis. So everybody make an x and y axis, please. Now notice where I'm putting my x-axis. My x-axis is not going in the middle. All right, it's going down. And the reason why it's going down is because every time you square a number, it's going to be what? It's going to be positive. All right? So what I'm going to try to teach you today is how to graph y equals x squared. So I want everybody to just go y equals x squared. And then we're strictly going to do y equals x squared by using a table. All right? So we're going to put x and y. We've all done this before. Connor, again, remember, this is what I'm saying, Connor. If you get lost right now, it's just much harder. Stay focused. All right? Now what I want to do is I want everybody to put in -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. All right. Now what's -3 squared?
9.
-2 squared. -1 squared. And 0 squared. So now everybody sees my point. All right. Is everybody with me on this? All right, that wasn't hard. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to plot those points. So 0, 0, -1, 1, +1, 1, 2, 4, -2, 4, -3, and 3, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now that is our parabola. All right, which is also called a quadratic. All right. Very important. All right, very, very important. Bless you. Now, does everybody agree? Come on, that's pretty simple. Does everybody agree? Nothing to that. Just plot points if you don't remember anything, and you can kind of figure out the sketch. Now, what I want to do now is I want you to take a look at this and see if this has any meaning to it right here.
That's a line of symmetry.
Wow. Who said that? How did you know that?
I don't know.
That is true. That line right there is called, now listen, he is correct. It is a line of symmetry, but in math terms, we call it the axis of symmetry. the axis of symmetry. All right. Now notice that the axis of symmetry goes through this point down here. What is this point down here called? Do you know, Connor?
The X.
Very good. The vertex. All right. It is called the vertex. So the lowest point on the graph is called the vertex. The vertical line that goes through the vertex is called the axis of symmetry. Okay? The axis of symmetry. Now, the other thing I want to tell you is where the graph crosses the y-axis is called the y-intercept. And where the line crosses, or where the parabola, or where the graph crosses the x-axis, those are called the x-intercepts. All right? So now, what I want you to remember is I want you to write this down, that the y-intercept is always 0, c. The y-intercept is always 0, c. Come on, Connie, writing it all down. And then the x-intercepts. To find the x-intercepts, you let y equals 0. To find the x-intercepts, you let y equals 0. Now, one more note I need for you to do. All right? This is the important part now. Here is where you have to kind of memorize a few things. All right? I want everybody to write down the axis of symmetry. To find the axis of symmetry, it's always x equals negative b over 2a. It's always x equals negative b over 2a. The vertex. Now, I want you to write this down, and it looks complicated, but I'll show you how simple. The vertex is negative b over 2a, comma, f of negative b over 2a. So write that down. That looks complicated, and I'll explain exactly what it means. But, in fact, it's very simple. All right? So the vertex is negative b over 2a, comma, f of negative b over 2a. All right, any questions or concerns with that? Anybody? All right, so with that, that's a summary of everything that you're going to need to know how to do. All right, that's a summary of everything that you're going to need to know how to do. And again, let me emphasize, it's really not that bad. All right, it's really not that bad. So with that, I want to go back up here, all right, to question number 1. All right, it says we're going to graph each of the following. All right, we're going to find the vertex, the axis of symmetry, and the y-intercept. That's what we're going to do right now. All right, so the first thing is number 1. I want to find, what's that? Axis of symmetry. All right, so keep in mind, what is A in this problem? Good, 1. What's B? Very good, 0. And what is C? Very good, -5. All right? So again, for those of you guys who are not quite sure, remember, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. A is the number in front of the x squared term. What number's in front of the x squared term? 1. What number's in front of the x? B. In this case, there is no x, so B is 0. All right? And C is your constant. So in this case, your constant is -5. Anybody have any issues with that? All right, so here we go. Your axis of symmetry is x equals -b over 2a. What is -b going to be? Good. 0 over 2 times 1. What's 0 divided by anything? 0. That is correct. So your axis of symmetry is just x equals 0. That wasn't hard. All right. Now after that, step 2, we're going to find the vertex. All right, we're going to find the vertex. The vertex is a point. The axis of symmetry, or the vertex, is on the axis of symmetry, so that means that 0 is the x-coordinate of the vertex. How do I know 0 is the x-coordinate of the vertex? Because there you go. All right, it is that solution. So I put 0 in for x. Now, how do you think I figure out what the y is? Bless you. Very good. You plug 0 into the equation. So what do I mean by that? Look, the equation is y equals x squared minus 5. So what do? I plug 0 in for x. Y equals 0 squared minus 5. What does y equal? -5. So the vertex is, come on, 0, -5. The vertex is 0, -5. All right, listen to me now. I promise you I'm not going to leave anything out. All I want you to do is you say, agree with me that you understand how I got -5. So that's the y coordinate of the vertex. That's all I'm asking. Everybody good? All right, now step 3, the easiest one. You need to find the y-intercept. The y-intercept is just 0c. Just to remind you, the y-intercept is 0, c. So in this case, the y-intercept is what? 0, what? -5. So now,
what is the C stand for?
c is this guy right here. C is the constant. So it's just the number. See what I'm pointing to now? Hey, come on now. That was a good question. Do you hear me? Did you get that? Okay. So now, this is just a coincidence that the y-intercept is the vertex. That's not always the case. Actually, rarely it's the case. All right? And you'll figure out why that is. All right? Now, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and graph it. So now let me show you how we're going to graph. So the first thing is I'm going to add a sticky note, which I kind of like. All right? And then the type of paper in here. And then we'll put it in here, okay? Now again, you can expand it if you like, all right, but it's not necessary. Please watch, again, how simple, all right? The first thing is we're gonna draw the x-axis, all right? So here we go, we're gonna draw the x and y axis. So the first thing I did is I'm drawing the y. Now, this time up here, I'm drawing the x-axis a little bit higher. The reason why I'm drawing the x-axis a little bit higher is because the vertex is 0, -5. All right? Now, what do I need now? I need the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry is x equals 0. Remember, x equals 0 is just a vertical line at 0. So I'm going to draw that. So look right here, guys. This right here is the axis of symmetry. All right, that's the axis of symmetry. Now, I want you to look at the vertex. What is the vertex?
0, -5.
0, -5. So now we're going to graph 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, -5. So bear with me on that. All right. Now, the reason why this one's a little bit different now is because I need 3 points. Generally, the y-intercept gives me a second point, But in this case, we have a little bit of a problem because it's the same point. So if it's the same point, you're just simply going to have to pick one more point. And that point I want to plug in is what? 1. All right. So somebody tell me what happens if I plug in 1. What do I get for y? Come on now, help me out. No, because look, it's y equals 1 squared minus 5. Y equals 1 minus 5. Yes, -4. So now we graph 1, -4. So 1, -4 is right here. Is everybody okay with that? Now, because the axis of symmetry is a mirror, what other point has to be on the graph? All right, so please look. So I'm measuring to the axis of symmetry. That means there's got to be a point on the other side the same distance. Does everybody agree with that now? Everybody see that? All right. And now that's good enough to draw your quadratic or your parabola. Everybody okay with that? All right, not too bad. All right, not too bad. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to look at question number 2. All right, let's look at question number 2. All right, so step number 1, x equals -b over 2a. What is b? 0. So 0 over 2 times -2 is still what? It's still 0. No. The next problem it won't be. The next problem it won't be, I promise you.
So wait, how do you find, how can you tell this?
Because what's 0 divided by -4? 0. Hayes, are you good on that? I'm asking Hayes a question real quick. What? You asking me why is b 0? 2 times -2. Come on now. Concentrate. All right. So now that's the axis of symmetry. Step number 2, we're trying to find the vertex. So it's going to be 0, comma something. If I plug in 0, what do I get? Somebody tell me if I plug 0 in, what do I get? 8. Right? How did I get that? Because look, y equals -2 times 0 squared plus 8. Everybody okay with that? And 0 squared is 0. 0 times -2 is 0. 0 plus 8 is 8. Does everybody agree with that? So now my vertex is at 0, comma 8. Everybody okay with that? All right. Now, my y-intercept. Very nice. Thank you very much. 0, comma 8. And again, it's a coincidence. And in a little bit, I'll be able to tell you why it's the same. All right. Now what I want to do is let's go ahead and graph another one. All right. So let's add a note. All right, I like this a lot. All right, now, in this particular case, please. All right, in this particular case, all right, we're going to draw our X and Y axis. Come on, don't come in messing around with me. Now, what's the vertex, guys? 0, 8, right? So that means I'm going to have to go up 8. Do you agree? So we got to keep that in mind. All right, so I'm going to draw it down here because I got to go up 8. All right. So when everybody go up 8 and plot a point, well, actually, we can draw the axis of symmetry, which again is this guy right here. Is everybody hearing me on that? and then we graph 0, 8. So I go 0. Okay. So again, sorry about the information. But essentially, let's just summarize real quick because I had some technical difficulties here. I just plugged 1 into the equation and found that my y value was 6. So 1 minute, Demo. I plugged 1, 6 in. Then I used the mirror image. I'm 1 unit away from the axis of symmetry, so there's got to be another point over there 1 unit away. All right, Demo, thank you. Where I got what? Where do you see a -4, Demo? Oh, okay, Demo. Sorry, buddy. That was for this problem. That's up here. All right. Sorry, I shouldn't have put it there. Don't worry. What?
So like for 2 and 3, you just plug them into the things.
Exactly. Exactly. And we're going to do another one. It's going to be a little bit different now. All right. The next one's going to be a little bit different. All right. Now, the parabola or the quadratic will open up. Listen, it opens up. I want you to put a note here. It opens up if a is greater than 0. Make that a little side note. A opens up if a is, the parabola opens up if a is greater than 0. It's going to open down if what? If a is less than 0. So if a is less than 0, it opens down. So I need you to make yourself a little note for that. All right, make yourself a note, please. All right, I'm pretty happy. All right, now we're going to move in to something a little bit trickier because it's a little bit more involved. All right, but that's the basics. All right, so here we go. Now I'm on number 3. Now it's going to open up or down. It's going to open down. So make yourself a little note of that. It's going to open down. All right, does anybody have any issues with why it opens down? Just because the A, now, not just because it's negative, but because what? The A is negative. If A is negative, it opens down. If A is positive, it opens up. Michael, you good? I want you to ask me a question now if you got a problem. All right, there's no reason for me to get to question 7 or 8 and all of a sudden you're going, wow. All right, there's no reason to go take a break and then come back and you're going to be lost. All right, so now this is a summary now of everything you should know. All right, this honestly is as hard as it gets. All right, the first 2 were just kind of an introduction. All right, now step number 1. X equals -b over 2a. So what's -b going to be? -12 over 2 times what? -2. -12 over -4, so that means it is 3. So x equals 3 is the axis of symmetry. X equals 3 is the axis of symmetry. Now, how do I find the vertex? How do I find the vertex? Yes, you plug 3 in. Wow, thank you. So y equals -2 times 3 squared plus 12 times 3 plus 3. Everybody with me? You don't need your calculator for that. Y equals -18 plus 36 plus 3. Y equals 21. So my vertex. Somebody tell me what my vertex is.
0.
No. My vertex is 321. Thank you so very much. Your vertex is 3,21. Any questions or concerns?
So you plug in the 3 for every.
That's exactly correct. Very smart. Yes, good job, Hayes. Come on.
Okay, so I understand how you got 2. So on the in the first part, how did you get -12?
Okay. because it was, here is the b value. So b is 12. So negative 12.
That's it.
Oh, that's the equation.
That is the equation. All right. Now 3. 3 is asking for
Yeah.
Y-intercept, which is 0, comma c, which in this case is 0, comma 3. Now again, listen to me. That's how simple it is. That is how simple. All right. Now what I'm going to do, yeah, especially it's not going to be simple for everybody who's absent. All right. So here we go. Let's add a sticky. I think you can almost copy it too. You know what I mean? I think that might even be easier now that I think about it. But since I didn't think right now, let's do this. And now what I'm going to do is shrink it down a little bit. Shrink it down a little bit. Move it over. All right. And then move all this, slide this over here. All right. So now I have to go up to 321. Now listen to me. Do I really expect you to count up 21, guys? No, I'm not making you do that. All right. So please try to watch. All right. What I'm trying to show you now. All right. It'll save you a bunch of time. All right. So here we go. So here's this. Now I'm going up. So I make my x-axis here. And my vertex is 321. Is everybody with me? So 321. So what I'm doing is, well, first of all, x equals 3. Let's go ahead and draw that. And that is the what? That's the axis of symmetry. Is everybody good with that? Now, as everybody see, there's no point to count up to 21. All right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to put a point right here. And then I'm going to mark this point right here and just mark it what? Yes. All right? This is 3. Now everybody knows what we're doing. Is everybody good with that? We're happy? All right, I'm not asking you to count up to 21. That's silly. All right. Then I'm graphing the y-intercept, which is what? 0, comma 3, right? So I don't care where you put that. So we're just going to come down here, and I'm just going to call this guy right here. Everybody agree? That's not a bad scale. So as long as you label it, that's 3. Okay, now here's what I need from you guys. Where is the other point going to go? Across or on the other side of the axis of symmetry. So what we're going to do is we're measuring from here to here. How many units is that? 3. So then I have to go what? 3 more on this side. There I am at, right there. All right. So somebody tell me what the coordinates of that third point. What's that coordinate right there? Come on, you can figure that out. No.
3, 7.
Close. No.
1, 6.
Say it.
It's 1, 6.
6, 1.
6. Yes. 6, 3 though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we went up 1. I'm not arguing with you. Right? We went up 1, but 1 represented what? 3. You hear me? Yes.
So, if you like, how's like the Vertex symmetry right there?
Because in our problem, we have the axis symmetry x equals 3. You hear me? That's why that was important. I'm not saying you add 3 to everything. No. X equals 3 is a vertical line going through x equals 3.
Earlier you said that you're supposed to put like the axis like lower than
Well, it's just a matter of determining where you want it. Right? Like I wouldn't put the x-axis high here because I have to go up 21. You with me? So you want to make your x low because you're going up 21. And now all you're doing is graphing it. All right, so try to graph that now. That's the graph. Yes, sir.
So like, how do you know? Like, I get how you like do it. I just don't know how to like plug the like what you plug the things into. Like on the left side, where it's like 1, 2, 3, like how do you know what to like? Like I don't get how you like get the answer. Like X equals B.
This right here.
Yeah.
So it's negative b over 2a. What's b in this problem?
12.
So what's negative 12? Over 2 times a.
Well, I just
Well,
don't know.
Shush!
The only thing I don't get is how you know what to plug everything into.
It's the same every single time.
Oh, it's
X
the same.
equals negative b over 2a.
No, but like for like number 2 also. Like,
Well, in this case, in number 2,
no, I mean on number 2, like
He's saying
like
number
you know how it's like
oh, step 2.
Step 2.
So then after you figure out what step 1 is, all you do is you take the answer that you got for step number 1, that 3, and you plug it in for x.
I know, but how do you know like the equation?
It's AX.
What's the
It's
formula?
The
AX.
equation
That's
is
the problem.
right here is the equation
So that's just what you do for everything.
all the time.
He doesn't understand that AX squared plus BX.
Like,
No,
how
I
do
get
you how do you get 2a and negative b? It's like,
That's
just for
A is this number right here. B is this number. C is this number. A is the number in front of the x squared. B is the number in front of the x. C is the constant. Good.
What's the formula for step 2?
Plug the x equals 3 into the equation.
Okay.
I don't know what you're laughing at. All right. Now, what time is it? How much? 1 minute. Okay, so your assignment, listen to me. And again, here's where I have some issues. All right. Your assignment is simply to try to repeat 1, 2, and 3. Hear me out now. All right, does everybody understand what I'm saying? I wanted to soak in. The only way it's going to soak in is if you go and do the problems over. Now, 4 is a little bit different, so don't bother going with 4. I'm going to do the rest of them tomorrow. It's a process. You have to learn the process. Now, come on, it's not even hard math. It's just you have to memorize a few equations, and you have to memorize the process in order to do a good job. Is everybody hearing me? Make sure tomorrow when I say, what is the axis of symmetry? You can say x equals negative b over 2a. How do I find the vertex? You plug that number into the equation. How do I find the y-intercept? That's just 0c. That's what you're doing.